Most High put together. We gon' see. In times.
Serpents lurking, watchers watching, Yahshua stay on point. They lurking. We under the covenant, we ain't got no other choice. Gird your loins up, armor up, cause it's time for war. We the generation that's gon' get on one accord. Serpents lurking, watchers watching, Yahshua stay on point. We under the covenant, we ain't got no other choice. Gird your loins up, armor up, cause it's time for war.
What if you were shown that what you believe to be Christmas in your mind is not really what Christmas is in reality? What if I proved to you that Christmas was surreptitiously subjoined to Christianity with the delusive intent to have those that follow Christianity to inadvertently worship Satan? What if it was shown to you that you've been systematically induced into partaking yearly in this satanic ritual called Christmas, and that you are responsible for empowering demon forces and you don't even know it? Sounds crazy, right? I know. But nothing is ever what it really seems to be. You see, the problem is you don't ask questions. You just go with the flow, right? You've been taught to just do as others do. You've been programmed to go with the program. For example, let me ask you a question. Why do you bring a tree in your house on December 25th? What does that signify? What does it mean? What is the reason you do it? The answer is you don't know. Let me ask you another one. What is the reason that you take that same tree that you don't know why you brought in your house and you deck it with silver, with gold, and various other ornaments? What does it mean? Why do you do it? The answer is, you don't know. What is the reason you put that star on the top of that tree for? What does it mean? You don't know. What are you kissing somebody under a mistletoe for? You don't know. So now, with that being said, what you need to do is sit down and lend me your ear for a few minutes so you can understand why you do these things. You can get the origin of these things, and then you can consciously decide if you want to continue doing it or if you want to do away with it. Because you have been naively beguiled into worshiping Satan, and I'm going to show you exactly how Satan infiltrated Christianity with Christmas.
Yulnir. During the Yule celebrations, someone would be selected to dress up as Yulnir, Old Man Winter, a white-bearded man dressed in a hooded fur coat. This individual would travel around the community, joining in with the various celebrations. Sometimes he walked, sometimes he rode a horse. You probably know him by his other name, Odin. This figure, when introduced into England while parts were under Viking rule, soon became the modern Father Christmas.
We're getting close to Christmas, so today I want to talk about the Yule traditions from the Viking Age. As you might know, a lot of the Christmas traditions we have today are based on pagan Yule traditions. And although they have a lot of similarities, the modern Christmas traditions have been modified to fit a Christian framework.
12-day feast. Yule starts on winter solstice, also known as midwinter. From this date, the 21st of December, the days grow longer and the nights grow shorter. The feast lasts for 12 days, and ends on January 1st. So it's also a celebration of transitioning from one year to another. The actual duration of the feast would not always last for the entirety of 12 days though. According to written sources, it could last for only 3 days or for as long as there was still alcohol left. Blot. It was an ancient custom that when a blood sacrifice was to be made, all farmers were to come to the heathen temple, the Hof, and bring along with them animals like pigs or horses to be sacrificed and later served at the feast. The sacrificial blood was called laut, and lautbolli, the vessel holding the blood, and laut einar, the sacrificial twigs. These were fashioned like sprinklers and used to smear blood all over the pedestals of the Norse idols, and also the walls of the temple, within and without. The people at the blot were also to be sprinkled with blood. Norse heathen communities today still perform blots, but it has become more common to perform the blot with goods like food and drink instead of animals. Juletree. The evergreens of the Scandinavian forests were a potent symbol of life for the Vikings. When the other trees had lost all their leaves, the evergreens were still looking green and strong. They represented a promise of life, even during the coldest and darkest season. The Vikings would decorate the trees with small offerings, like carvings, food, and clothes, to encourage the tree spirits to return in the spring. They also believed that these evergreens were the sun god Baldur's special plant. Yule wreath. In honor of the winter solstice, Vikings created giant sun wheels. After crafting the sun wheel, it would be set ablaze and rolled down a hill to welcome the coming of the sun. It is speculated that the sun wheel is the ancestor of the modern Christmas wreath on the door. Julelog. A long oak tree was carved with runes to wish for the protection of the gods and burned for the duration of the celebration. To let it go out was said to be a bad omen and a sign of bad luck to come. The Vikings would save a piece of the log for next year's fire. Juleboar, also known as the Sunargolter, was the boar sacrificed as part of the Yule celebration. Oaths were made on the bristles of the boar, a tradition known as heitstringing. Examples of this can be found in Ynglinga saga and the saga of Hervor and Heidrek. Juleham is still very popular during the Scandinavian Yuletide, but the practice of heitstringing is no longer a thing. Julegoat. The Julegoat was also one of the most important parts of the Viking Yule. The Viking Julegoat is related to a pair of goats belonging to Thor, god of thunder and lightning. In Norse mythology, a pair of goats pulled Thor's chariots across the sky, making the sound of thunder. In Scandinavia, it is still custom to decorate with Julegoats, often made out of straw. Also, it is believed that young men often dressed up in goatskin, going from house to house and singing along. In return, the young men would get a reward like food and drink, similar to Christmas caroling. We still have this tradition in Norway today, to go julebukk, though the goatskin outfit is not very common any longer.
That Christmas was originally a pagan festival is beyond all doubt. The time of year and the ceremonies with which it is still celebrated prove its origin. In Egypt, the son of Isis, the Egyptian title for the Queen of Heaven, was born at this very same time, about the time of the winter solstice. The very name by which Christmas is popularly known among ourselves, Yule Day, proves at once its pagan and Babylonian origin. Yule is the Chaldee name for an infant or little child, and its 25th of December was called by our pagan Anglo-Saxon ancestors Yule Day, or the Child's Day, and the night that preceded it, Mother Night, long before they came in contact with Christianity. That sufficiently proves its real character. The candles in some parts of England lighted on Christmas Eve and used so long as the festive season lasts were equally lighted by the pagans on the eve of the festival of the Babylonian god, to do honor to him, for it was one of the distinguishing particularities of his worship to have lighted wax candles on his altar. The lighting of the candles, when you and your family all getting together smiling, lighting candles, yes, that means something to ancient Babylonian custom, commemorating and worshiping the birth of Nimrod, Satan himself. See, people think these customs just popped up out of thin air when they've been around all the way since the beginning of time, and they have overflowed and found their way and crawled their way down into modern day society today. It's the same customs, just being repeated and another name masked over it. Back then, it was Babylon. Today, it's masked with Christ. It's the same exact custom. Same ritual, same custom, same worship. Same exact God. The Christmas tree. Another paganistic custom and ritual that stems all the way back to ancient Babylon. It's the same exact God that worked his way all the way through and made his way all the way up to Christianity. It's the same exact deity. Most Christians don't even know that the Christmas tree is in the Bible. God condemns dealing with the Christmas tree. It's an abomination. He tells you not to deal with it. Any Christian that has read the Bible, the reason you don't know it's in the Bible because you've never read the Bible. Most Christians never read the Bible. Because if they did, they would know they're not supposed to be dealing with a Christmas tree or any other type of tree, putting ornaments and putting presents underneath it. You would know that it was an ancient custom and a heathenistic custom and a paganistic custom and a satanic worship and Luciferian doctrine. Jeremiah 10 and verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. The Christmas tree, now so common among us, was equally common in pagan Rome and pagan Egypt. In Egypt, that tree was the palm tree. In Rome, it was the fir. The palm tree denoting the pagan Messiah as Baal Tamar, the fir referring to him as Baal Berith. The mother of Adonis, the sun god and great mediatorial divinity, was mystically said to have been changed into a tree. So early Rome denoted the palm tree as Baal Tamar and the fir tree as Baal Berith, which when you understand anything about religious origin, you'll know that these are all the same gods. They stem from the same gods back in ancient Babylon, the worship of Nimrod, reincarnated after he died when he was deified by his mother Semiramis. He became known as Baal and then became known as Baal Zebub or Beelzebub. And when you read the Bible, that's the highest ranking demon in the demonic forces. Luke 11 verse 15. But some of them said, he casteth out devils through Beelzebub, the chief of the devils. He's the head chief demon of all the legions underneath him. So when you have this tree in your house, the Christmas tree, you dealing on a high level of satanic worship, whether you know it or not. You dealing directly with Satan himself by participating in that satanic ritual that you do yearly. You conjuring up spirits right there. You conjuring that tree is the direct porthole to Satan himself, the Beelzebub. The Christmas tree, as has been stated, was generally at Rome a different tree, even the fir. But the very same idea as was implied in the palm tree was implied in the Christmas fir. For that covertly symbolized the newborn God as Baal Berith, Lord of the covenant, and thus shadowed forth the perpetuity and everlasting nature of his power. Not that after having fallen before his enemies, he had risen triumphant over them all. Therefore, the 25th of December, the day that was observed at Rome as the day when the victorious God reappeared on earth, and held at the Natalis Invictus Solis, the birthday of the unconquered sun. Now the Yule log is the dead stock of Nimrod, deified as the sun god, but cut down by his enemies. The Christmas tree is Nimrod redivivus, the slain god come to life again. So the Yule log is representation of Nimrod being chopped down, his death. Then you put the Yule logs into the fire. Most people don't do that part of the ritual because most you don't have a fireplace to put it in. If you got money in your own place and an actual fireplace, those are the ones that partake into that ritual. Then after that Yule log gets burnt, then on Christmas Day represents the reincarnation of Nimrod, which is the tree, the Christmas tree with the presents underneath it, because the legend has it that after Nimrod was reincarnated, he'd come in the nighttime and leave presents underneath the tree. So it's a whole ritual that's being done, and you don't have any idea why you're doing it. You're completing a whole satanic ritual, and you have no idea why you're doing it. You're getting socially programmed to partake in this demonic custom, and you have no idea why you're doing it.
Christmas customs can be described not only as an offspring of seasonal pagan practices, but it can be also linked to one of the most renowned ancient Roman festivals, which was celebrated during this same time of year. This Roman festival dates back to at least several centuries BCE. It was known as Saturnalia. Although its exact origins remain unclear, Saturnalia was celebrated in Roman times as a festival honoring the god Saturn. It was marked by feasting, music, widespread merrymaking, role reversals, hedonism, and even gladiator combat. Gift-giving held particular importance in this festival, with children receiving toys as part of the festivities. Saturnalia participants would don the pileos, a brimless, conical felt hat, while evergreen wreaths adorned homes and Roman temples displayed evergreen trees. This was also a festival of lights, marked by the lighting of candles and other objects. Short messages featuring poetry and verse were exchanged along with gifts. An early version of today's greeting cards, round ornaments known as asila, were hung on trees, doors, and various items. In Saturnalia's role reversals, which saw men dressing as women and servants as masters, we find parallels to the Twelfth Night traditions of Christmas. Saturnalia gradually extended in length and shifted to later dates during the Roman era. During Emperor Augustus's reign, 63 BC AD 14, the celebration spanned 2 days, beginning on December 17th. By the time Lucian, 120-180 CE, documented the festivities, Saturnalia had grown to a 7-day event. Adjustments to the Roman calendar eventually aligned the festival's peak with December 25th around the winter solstice. Emperor Caligula, AD 1241, attempted to confine Saturnalia to 5 days, though this effort was largely ineffective. Emperor Domitian, AD 51-96, may have officially moved Saturnalia to December the 25th in an effort to solidify his authority, tempering the event's subversive nature by hosting public celebrations under his supervision. In his poem Asterisk Silvi Asterisk, Poet Statius, AD 4595, portrays the lavish feasts and entertainments that Domitian oversaw. Brumalia, another related festival celebrating Saturn and other gods, took place around the same time. In this fertility-oriented celebration, a small tree was said to grow overnight from an old dead log, symbolizing renewal, akin to the Christmas Yule log. Decorations included painted orbs and eggs, holly wreaths, and mistletoe, the latter of which was believed in pagan tradition to have aphrodisiac properties. Today, kissing under the mistletoe remains a Christmas custom, though the plant itself is actually toxic. In the 3rd century CE, Emperor Aurelian established the worship of the sun god Sol Invictus as an official Roman religion, with December 25th designated as the god's official feast day. This day, merging with Saturnalia and Brumalia, became known as the birthday of the unconquerable sun god. The connections to Christmas are clear. These associations led to Christmas celebrations being banned in parts of 17th century Britain and America, as it was viewed as a heathen custom that conflicted with Christian beliefs. As Monsieur Patino noted, the Puritan ban on Christmas, most Americans today are unaware that Christmas was banned in Boston from 1659 to 1681. Joe Kovach added that it was followers of Jesus Christ in both America and England who supported laws prohibiting the holiday, believing it an affront to God due to its pagan associations from Shocked by the Bible, the most astonishing facts you've never been told. It wasn't until the 19th century, during Queen Victoria's reign, that Christmas trees became popular again in Britain. Her German husband, Prince Albert, brought the custom to Buckingham Palace, and it subsequently gained popularity throughout the nation. But how did these customs become linked to Christianity when they don't appear in the New Testament? The answer is fairly straightforward. In the 4th century CE, when Christianity became Rome's official religion, popular festivals like Saturnalia were retained and simply renamed in a Christian context.
He gon' send his hand, destruction gotta come, that's how he get us out this lane. The devil working hard, trying to get us out his plane. His sheep hear his voice, so he can't get us out his hand. We gon' trust the son of man, blow your winds, Father. Your kingdom coming, we just trying to make it in, Father. Rather we